everyone, and welcome back to the MTG Goldfish Podcast, episode 140, your weekly podcast covering everything Magic the Gathering related. You can find us on Google Play, iTunes, mtggoldfish.com, and now on YouTube. Joining us as always, the crew, Richard, the owner of MTG Goldfish. What is up, Richard?
Hey guys, what's up?
What is up? Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, our resident jank brewer and all-around content creator. What is up, Seth?
What's going on, guys?
And Chaz, as always, all-around content creator for Magic, focusing on the financial aspect. So, busy week, but not too busy. So, the entire Ixalan set was revealed to us. We did not have that last week. We talked about a lot of different things, but surprisingly, the full spoiler was not revealed to us in all of that chaos. So, we're going to give our overall thoughts. I actually had some time to play test this weekend over, various digital platforms that I will remain nameless. But it was really fun, and I think having all of our takes on that would be great. And then we'll just wrap things up with some fish mail. So not a super busy week. We'll keep it a little shorter, but let's just dive right in. Gentlemen, we'll start with you, Richard. We have the full set. What do you feel, how do you feel about Ixalan now that you see everything in front of you?
I don't think much has changed. I mean, last week we pretty much had the full set. This past week we had, I think, 2 mythics, a few rares, and then all the commons and uncommons. So nothing too crazy. It's still pirates. It's still dinosaurs. There are some wacky EDH cards, which I'm very excited about. And it's still Ixalan. So the real question is, what does Standard become post-rotation? And is Dinosaurs going to be an actual deck? Because that's what I'm most interested in. I want to see tribal Standard decks come to the forefront again.
So I think you're going to be disappointed, Richard. So I think that we will have tribal decks in the forefront, but I wrote a whole article this weekend actually about the tribal decks, and I think for the most part, we're probably going to be waiting for rivals of Ixalan this winter. If you look at the tribes, Vampires and Merfolk almost certainly don't have enough pieces to be a full-force tribal deck yet. Dinosaurs sort of do, but I don't know how tribal they are. It's not like they have a Lord or that many Dinosaur Matters cards. You'll probably play a deck with a lot of dinosaurs in it, but I don't know if their creature type will define it. So I think if you want a real tribal deck, you're most likely one for the immediate future, probably going to be the Pirates, I think, is the one that actually has a shot to be a real tribal deck.
Yeah, not much has changed for me either, and I'm going to go with Richard here. I still like it. I still think it's going to have a really positive impact on Standard. And I was just talking to Seth about this, right, Seth? Before we were recording, that, this is a kind of a pivotal rotation. There's so many cards leaving, not many cards replacing them, and with everything that has happened over the past year, all these cards being banned, and just a lot of these cards that people have grown to, maybe probably grown tired of at this point, are gone. I think it's going to be really fresh, and I have a few notes and just some general takeaways from what I was playing so far, and play testing that kind of backs that up. So yeah, I don't know, Richard. I think Dinosaurs is right there, and I think this tribal stuff is right there. But Seth might have a point on the back end of, I think we just need one more set of support.
This is BS, guys. I did the WotC survey, and they're like, "Why do you want to play Ixalan?" And I'm like, "Dinosaurs." They're like, "What are you most excited about?" I'm like, "Dinosaurs." So next set, we better have some small dinosaurs. I guess we need kind of the small Jawsy they made in Battle for Zendikar to actually give you a curve, because right now all the good dinosaurs are expensive, and you're going to play them like a Gear Hulk or something. Kind of just top your curve, finish the game, but it's not all in dinosaurs. We're going to need some 2-1s and 1-1 dinosaurs to get the true tribal feeling going.
Yeah, and that's really, that is really the issue. And that's what we really do have to hope for, because in place of these smaller dinosaurs, I mean, there are a couple that are pretty good, but then it's you're jeopardizing your top end to play smaller dinosaurs when you just want to be ramping into your top end. It's very weird deck building, and I didn't get to see your article yet, Seth, so I apologize. So maybe you came at it a different way. But the way I played it, I mean, you're playing your cost reduction creatures. The 1 mana 0/3, the 2 mana 1/2 that gives other dinosaurs haste.
Yeah.
A lot of them have haste anyway, so it's like kind of weird. And then you're playing, so you could have like a really explosive starts. The problem is when you do get your explosive dinosaur, your larger dinosaur out ahead of the curve. 5 mana 5/5 trample haste is pretty good. Then they drop Verder's Gear Hulk, and you're like, oh, this is a problem because I still have a 1 mana 0/3 and a 1/2. So it's like they have a Winding Constrictor, a Rishgar, a Verder's Gear Hulk. You have a 5/5 trample haste that you got out pretty quickly, but so did they because they have Rishgar and Winding Constrictor. So that's kind of always the issue that I ran into. Some games I could steal, some games, even with ramping into the higher end dinosaurs, like I still ran into a problem of I just can't close this game out because I can't push through any more damage.
Yeah, I think that's why you want to be like the ramp deck. That's where I see dinosaurs, is being like, take the Eldrazi ramp decks, replace the Eldrazi with like 12 of the biggest dinosaurs, and then you have a deck. Like, maybe you can play Ripjaw Raptor as kind of like a mid-range blocker, but when it comes to being like an aggressive deck, it's just hard for me to picture that dinosaurs can be more aggressive than like Constrictor or Ramanon Bread, or be a better value deck than Temur Energy. So I think they're in a weird place as far as being a more aggressive, like mid-rangey deck. I think their competitive advantage is just like going over the top in a ramp deck, blowing up everything with Awakening Sun's Avatar, maybe getting a lot of value with Gishath. I think that's where dinosaurs really shine.
Carnage Tyrant is pretty sweet, though. I'm not going to lie.
Wait. Can someone explain to me why this was a $20 card? Is there some, like, secret deck here? Am I missing something?
Yeah, you didn't see it on MTG Arena? The live stream? You play your Carnage Tyrant, you give it double strike with some Moot, and you pretty much one-shot them.
I think that it's mostly because it's insanely good against Gear Hulk decks. It dodges... Hour of Devastation. You can't really beat it. There's no Blessed Alliance anymore, so I think it's just like the control killer.
Why is it better than a Gear Hulk, though?
Because you can't target. It's like hexproof.
But a stacked Gear Hulk can take it on.
Well, I mean, I guess 2 Gear Hulks could block it.
No, you just abrade their Gear Hulk.
Or that.
I don't know. I'm seeing people playing this. It just getting... it enters a battlefield and then they untap and like fumigate or whatever, and there goes your 6 mana.
They really don't, though.
Like I don't see this.
Well, maybe later on, but right now it's strong because that's not really what they're doing. They're not fumigating now.
I see.
Like it's
this
all
is
these
mid-range mirror tech where your 7/6 is gonna hopefully carry you through, but I just don't see it. There's just so much.
Well, they can't interact with it, which is really tough, and you do have the option of, I mean, it is really like wacky, but I mean, I have seen it. Like, and it's pretty scary once it happens. Like you immediately write it off because like Samut is so bad, but then if it does happen, it's like I don't know what to do now. I'm like pretty much gonna lose.
Cast Fog.
Can't block it profitably. I don't know if I could just straight up take 14 damage, and I can't do anything to it.
So this is like super big boggles.
Yeah, it's like literally
7/6 hexproof. Just give it double strike.
Hey, listen,
Giant
the 6
growth
mana
while you're at it. That's a one-shot kill.
Yeah. Oh, what was it in Almoncat Limited? The crocodile. I mean, that thing was a nightmare.
Yeah, especially if you had Samet.
Wait, do we have a Temur Battle Rage?
No, I don't. Nothing that gives trample and double strike.
Well, I guess we just need double strike because Carnage Tyrant has trample already.
I'm sure there's something that gives double strike in standard.
I mean, something remotely playable.
I'll have
because
to check.
Yeah, I saw that there was like so many different versions. There was like a red-white version, then there was a Naya version, and I think the best one is the green-red version, because then they go cost reduction, the 2 mana 1/2, and then it's basically a 5-drop that you can give haste already with the 1/2. So it's really not that bad. I mean, it was pretty interesting.
All right.
And then they used.
I'll believe it when I see the Pro Tour being dominated by big dumb green creatures at 6 mana.
But it's a dinosaur,
It's like
Richard.
the
This is
return of
what you're
Cromwell.
dreaming of.
I mean, I want it to be good, but I just don't see $20.
But it's a dinosaur. You should be rooting for it.
But it's not coming with friends.
Yeah, I don't think it's $20.
Gishath. I want to see I hit you for 6. Slap a whole bunch of dinosaurs on the battlefield deck.
I gotta say, I don't know why Carnage Tyrant is that expensive, but I'll tell you this much, that Ripjaw Raptor is worth every penny. That card is ridiculous. It's so good.
I mean, Jace is also like up there, so people may not be entirely rational at the moment.
I think.
Yeah, well, whatever price tag Ripjaw Raptor's at, it's probably a reasonable one at this point, because that card is really good.
I think everyone's got to remember, too, from a financial perspective, this is the first set in a while where we haven't had masterpieces, and that's going to mean rares, mythics, all that kind of stuff is a lot more expensive. Like, I was looking at the set, and I think there's 4 mythics and 2 rares that are between, like, $13 and $20 right now, when in the past masterpiece sets, we might have maybe 2 and 0 rares, and sometimes even just like 1 mythic in that price range. So I think that it's going to take some adjusting for everyone to remember what it's like price-wise without having masterpieces to soak up some of the value.
Yeah, I mean, we have the data. I mean, looking back at Shadow's block is really good. Like a really good base. And what we saw there, I think, is similar to what we're seeing now, but I think what's going to happen is very similar to what happened with Shadows, is like a musical chairs kind of happens. Like, different cards literally just trade price tags, as one is deemed not as competitive people thought, and then other cards are, figured out. So, if, for instance, like Growing Rights of Itlamok is like a big thing or something like that, then that price tag will probably hold.
But Jace will drop as people realize how horrible it is.
Right. Or, Huatli will be like $15 for some reason, and Vraska will be the $2, the Tezzeret schemer of this set.
All right, question for you guys. Now that we've seen all of the legendary enchantment flip into land cards, what's your take on the mechanic? Do you think these cards are viable in Standard? Are they legitimate cards, or are they a cool gimmick for EDH?
I don't know if they're... Oh, go ahead, Seth.
I think that they have potential to be legitimate. I actually think they do. I think that it depends on the card. I think that some are more viable than others, but the payoff is really good on most of them, and for most of them, the front half is decent enough on its own that I think you're not embarrassed to have it in your deck. Like, none of them are so bad on the front half that they're unplayable. They're probably slightly worse than where you would want them to be if there was no back half on the card. But I think that they're good enough that probably most of them will see Standard play in their Standard life, I think.
Yeah, they're definitely good enough for Standard. I don't know about gimmicks in EDH. I think they're just solid cards. But I did see some numbers of Legions landing. The blue one seems strong to me. The red one, even though I made a joke about Sheevan Gorge, it's definitely not Sheevan Gorge. It's definitely a little bit better than that. Like, people actually played Outpost Siege, and you have the option of it turning into a viable threat. So that, to me, just seems fine. I don't know where they slot in early on, because again, I just saw a lot of the oldie, like, I feel like people are going to lean on what they already know, and that's fine when there's new rotations and stuff like that. I don't know if any of those cards are going to be overpowering, like Winding Constrictor, Verdurous Gear Hulks, like Teamer Energy decks, but I think over time people will find that they do generate a lot of value.
Yeah, I actually like all of them except the green one, the Gaia's Cradle one. It's going to be tough in Standard, but they remind me very much of the Theros Gods. You play them, they do something, and eventually something good happens. And I like all of them. I would put all of them in my deck except the green one, because the green one seems like it's some kind of combo deck, and traditionally we don't have enough consistency for combo in Standard, but maybe you'll see it in Modern. But the other cards, I would just play for their front halves. I mean, people played Outpost Siege, like you said. People played Thassa just to scry, right? Like with very little upside of turning her on, or Greed, stuff like that. So I would actually play, excuse me, I would play these cards, and my favorite one is the black one. I think if I build a control deck,
interesting,
it's going to have black in it, and you just get so greedy, and you get rewarded as you're about to die. It flips, and you like sacrifice your wall and gain your life back. So I actually really like the black one.
So even if you're going control and you had the choice between the black one and the blue one, you would still go black?
I would think I would go
You'd
black.
still choose the black enchantment?
Yeah, because I think the blue one is a bit slow for aggro decks, and I don't know if you want to be impulsing.
Fair enough.
When you flip, I don't know that you need to impulse anymore against aggro decks. And in the control mirror, I'd rather just straight up draw cards like forever. So I actually like the black one more. But maybe it's too risky, as ramming up red just slams your face in as you're trying to draw cards. You might not make it anywhere. So
the blue one seems really good in Modern, because you see decks in there, like I can't even count the number of times that decks turn to Gurmag Angler you in Modern. Like, it's so easy to Thoughtseize Fetch Land, Thought Scour, and all of a sudden you have that Impulse Land going, and that seems just like so much value in any sort of control deck where you're leaving up your Cryptics and Remands and Paths, and then just digging on the end of your opponent's turn. I mean, people play Desolate Loot House to loot for the same amount of mana, so I don't know why you wouldn't play that in Modern. I think maybe several of them. I think the blue one and the green one are definitely better in Modern than they are in Standard. And the white one might see play in Modern too. Like, I think it's a really strong cycle all around.
Yeah, and remember, you rampant growth yourself randomly when you flip this thing, right? So you actually get an extra land when this happens, so it makes it even more strong.
Yeah, the white one flips really a lot faster than you think, especially with Monument. It got scary pretty fast. I'll just tell you. Like, there was suddenly 5 creatures on the battlefield, and I was like, well, they only have to attack. Doesn't matter if I block and kill them, and now I have to deal with this thing.
Yeah.
And you can't, because I don't have my Star of Extinction, so there's no way for me to take it out.
The nice thing about the white one and the and the green one is they naturally get around the legendary thing too, like Oath of Nissa, where you don't really mind legend ruling yourself. It's kind of a fine thing to do, so you don't really get punished for playing them in multiples. When the red one, I think, and even the black one, that's the biggest risk. Like, yeah, you're drawing extra cards, but if you're drawing more legendary permanents you can't cast, it kind of takes away from the card draw a little bit.
My Tarmogoyfs are ready. They're ready to be 5/6s. It's like, nice search for Azcanta. Abrupt Decay hits you for 6, my Tarmogoyf.
Or it's a good way to turn on your own Delirium if you want to be traversing or something, because it's an enchantment in your graveyard. So there's actually upside there too.
Another card I really thought was pretty good when I saw it, and obviously I didn't need a reason to like it because it was green, but the Scavenger Dinosaur is actually pretty good. It's just a lot of incidental value over the course of the game.
This is the one that eats something when it enters the battlefield or attacks, right?
Yeah, so this is the 2 and a green. It's a 3/2.
Yep.
And when it enters the battlefield, you can munch a creature and either gain 2 life or gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So it was just a pretty good card. And I think that's the role Ixalan is going to play, probably early on. Now, I'm not discounting any decks formed with a lot of Ixalan cards happening, like Pirates or something like that. But I think we'll see something similar to Hour of Devastation, where early on it just played a very kind of a supportive role or a complementary role with all these cards, because you have a lot of stuff to choose from. You have Spell Pierce, Duress, Opt, all these cards, whether in their sideboard, the main board, and that's kind of where I see it going. And then we'll start to see we saw the God Pharaoh's Gift deck and stuff like that. So I think it might take a little bit of time, but not too much time.
Speaking of Opt, we didn't discuss this, did we? What do you guys make of Opt in Standard and in Modern, apparently?
Yeah, you're right. First time in Modern. I did not see them, and I didn't really play Modern on it where I was playing. Caught myself. But yeah.
So one blue,
I don't know what to make of
instant
it yet.
speed, scry 1, draw a card. So cantrip, but you get to scry first.
It's pretty good, I think. I think it's as good as cantrips get in Standard. I think that's just like max cantrip power. And it might even be that it's good to the point where Wizards doesn't put it in Standard again. This feels like the test cantrip to see how bad a cantrip can be and still break Standard, and it still just might be too good for Standard.
What about Serum Opt? Draw a card, then scry 1.
That would be pretty bad.
So does this supplant Serum Visions?
I don't see. You get the immediate answer quicker, but it's less scrying power, but it's instant speed. So I don't know how Modern players feel about this.
See, because that would be interesting. Because if it's not, then what do we have to worry about?
There's actually
because then maybe some like Storm deck or whatever. I leave that to other people or other players that figure that out. But because I don't play those decks, I don't know. Like, do you use that? Do they even use that at all? Like, would they even care if it's instant?
I think Storm definitely would play it. I've seen Storm players saying that they would definitely play Op. So I think they're going to play it. I don't know how much being instant speed actually matters, but just another 1-mana cantrip is something they would put in their deck. And it might be better than the next best option, even if it's not better than Serum Visions. It might be better than Sleight of Hand, quite possibly. So I think it shows up in Storm. I tend to think that Serum Visions is still better in most decks. I would rather get a card deeper the next turn, I think, but some people disagree with that. There's actually a really big debate, so I think it'll be interesting to see where it shakes out.
Yeah, because you can turn to Opt, right? You have the option of holding 2 mana, remanding or mana leak, and if they do nothing, then you can Opt, or you can, I'm going to say swords, but Path to Exile Opt, or Lightning Bolt Opt at instant speed, which you cannot do with Serum Vision. So, but turn 1 Opt is obviously a lot less powerful than turn 1 Serum Visions. So I don't know. It's a debate, and it'll be interesting. And I think some people might take the easy way out and go 2/2 or something as they test it out between Serum Visions and Opt. But I don't know. It's instant. Instant means a lot more, I think.
It's definitely better with Delver too, since you can upkeep it to flip your Delver. So there's upside in certain decks, but I think control decks would still play Serum Visions, but I think Delver decks and combo decks might go with Opt.
Is it Serum or Serum? Like it is Serum, right? Or Serum?
I say Serum.
I never got that.
I say Serum.
All right, so Serum.
But I don't know.
Sure. I think I mispronounced it a few times, but that's all right. We'll get comments about that anyway. We always mess stuff up on this cast. But yeah, that is interesting. I did not think about maybe the Delver interaction actually just makes it get there. Because that is pretty interesting. I guess we'll see. I don't know if people are testing it already. I don't know if there's like a really big consensus on it yet. I think that's something that will take a little bit of time to figure out. So before we move on to, just kind of spouting out stuff, but let's get down to it. We're a little ways away. I mean, Pro Tour, they moved back. So Richard, you need dinosaurs to be successful.
If dinosaurs or pirates, one of them. Like if merfolk or vampires show up, like no one cares, right? The new tribes have to be successful. So, but not too successful. You don't want Emrakul, you don't want Etherworks Marvel, but they have to show up and not just unlimited.
Okay. Seth, what are you hoping for, either early on, leading up into the Pro Tour? Like, what do you want to see happen with Ixalan?
I'm going to go with pirates. That's the tribe I've been most excited for, and after we actually have all the cards now, it looks like the tribe that I will have the most fun playing. So I'm rooting for some sort of tier pirate deck, just to develop into like a fairies, delver, like tempo / control archetype. That's what I want to see happen.
All right. And down to it. Favorite mythic, favorite rare. Richard.
Axis of Mortality. So that's...
Did you just pick the first one that you saw on the spoiler page,
No,
Richard?
I really like it. It's 4 white. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may have 2 target players exchange life totals. Like, this is the ultimate political card in EDH. And you can walk back your political line. You can switch players' life totals, and then the next turn switch them again. So I actually really like switching life totals. I think Seth and I tried it in a team game once, and we never got the switching life total theme to work correctly. But we basically played a deck where I got my life as close to 1 as possible, and then Seth would switch my life with someone else. It didn't work, but Axis of Mortality would help. So that's my favorite card. I don't care about Jason Vraska. I want Axis of Mortality.
All right, rare.
Rares. I haven't had much time to think about this one.
Should we circle
Let's
back?
circle back.
Okay. Seth.
I actually don't think the mythics from this set are that impressive overall, but I'm going to go with the Dark Horse in Tishana Voice of Thunder. It's probably not competitive, but it's so many cards that I can draw, so I'm going to just go, and it even gives me no maximum hand size, so I break I have to discard all the cards I draw at the end of my turn rule, so it's just everything I like to do, all wrapped up in a really expensive Dirtily card. And Panharmonicon, like, think of that with Panharmonicon. It passes the Panharmonicon test.
I thought you were going to go with the 7/7 dinosaur. What's up with that?
I actually like that card too, but that's more of a spiky card. As far as rares, okay. I'm going with the Ruin Raider still. I think that's the best card in the set.
That's a very good card, yeah. I was torn on this. I didn't know if I should go like the safe, like spiky route, or just cards that I like. I just tended to go the spiky safe route on this one. I'm going Jace and Ripjaw Raptor. Because those cards are just nuts. Well, definitely Ripjaw Raptor. I don't know about Jace yet, but I don't want to be the one that's like, this cast being like a couple weeks. See, they said it was bad, and it was like $5, and now it's like $35, and it's like taking over standard. So we have to have that balance.
All right, I found the card. We talked about it. The flip rare. Black card, Arguel's Bloodfast. But we talked about that one. Go. Revel and Riches. We talked about that a few weeks back.
Ooh, yeah.
That's going to be auto-include in all my EDH decks. I just like...
Yeah, it's a really fun card.
Really greedy black cards.
Fair enough. So that's it. That wraps up our discussion on Ixalan. We will have a lot more discussions once... the pre-release is going to happen. I believe this weekend. And... finally, Ixalan's going to be standard legal, and a whole big rotation is going to happen. It's going to be great.
Has anyone made a custom deck box that's a treasure chest yet?
Ooh.
No one's on it. I haven't seen any Reddit posts about this. This seems like a snap do here. You make a little treasure chest, you show up at pre-release, you open it up, your tokens are like gold coins. It'd be so sweet.
Are they doing anything interesting for the pre-releases? Like, are they doing something similar to what we saw? What was it, like Gen Con or whatever? You have to like go and dig out your prize with a shovel or something like that, and like pull the tomb open.
I don't think they're ever going to do that.
Get your bolus to start digging out his gods.
Yeah,
they said they were dinosaur packs or something. That's not for pre-release though.
Oh, yeah, that's probably for leagues, right?
Is it?
They did announce they're doing dino-sized drafts in, I think it's the end of October. So it's for some reason going to be 4-pack draft events instead of the typical 3-pack draft event. So I know they did announce that as sort of a promotional thing for the set.
So what does dino size mean? Is that like oversized commander card size?
No, you just get one more pack. You get 4 packs for your draft instead of 3, yeah.
This is terrible. I thought we were actually getting, like, cool cards.
No, same cards, just more of them, slightly more of them.
This is just 4-pack draft.
Yeah.
Oh, this is terribly unexciting. I thought we were going to get, like, oversized dinosaurs, and you would try to get, the legendary ones for your EDH decks.
you can win posters of art inspired by Ixalan. So there's probably sweet dinosaur posters that we haven't seen the art from yet that are flavorfully tied to Ixalan, but it's still not dino sized, really. It's just cool posters in one more pack.
All right. That's okay. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, looking forward to it. So, Fishmail, if you have questions,
Fishmail.
send them to @MTGGoldfish with the hashtag MTGFishmail, and we'll get to your questions. First question, Zadine T. Rocket. In your opinion, why does WotC print unsupported playstyles like land destruction in Standard?
They do?
So I guess the question is, why do they print really bad land destruction cards if they don't really want people destroying lands?
I mean,
I don't know. That is a very good question. Like, if the archetype is not going to be supported, why print inefficient land destruction cards? I mean, I guess it's because they have to have some sort of answer to all these like flip lands and stuff like that. Whether they're very good or not, I mean, just look at Star of Extinction. I don't know. So there's not many ways to actually get rid of those lands, and I think that's fine because people don't like their lands being destroyed anyway. So I guess it's just all good. And
I think they it's not that they don't want these things to exist. Like, they want you to be able to build this horrible everything's 5 mana land destruction spell. Like, they're perfectly fine with that, and they want people to be able to do that, but they don't want those strategies to be seen play in tournaments or anything. So I think that they still want to support it enough that if you really love land destruction and you want to build a standard legal kitchen table land destruction deck, that it's a thing you can do, but they want to make sure it's watered down enough that it's not going to be winning the next GP or something.
All right, next question. Randon Dark Rider, what do you think about Skyship Plunderer come Ixalan? Works with Jace, landmark counters, etc.
Hey, I like it. I thought I brought that up, or Seth brought it up, and I co-signed. I think that's a pretty sweet card.
So I actually researched this week if Thrumming Bird ever saw play when it was legal in Standard.
It did not.
And the answer was it sort of did a tiny bit, but it was mostly because it was with Grand Architect, so you could tap it for 2 mana to cast Wormcoil Engine, so it was kind of like a 2 mana ramp spell rather than a proliferator, so I think it could be fun, build around me type card, but I would be surprised if it's like a tier type card or strategy.
I just played with this card. Is it a 1/2 or a 2/1?
2/1.
But it's still a 2/1 flying. Like, that's not even that bad.
I think it's good enough if you have planeswalkers in your deck. Like, this just could be good enough, right? Giving you an extra loyalty.
It actually, because we talked about this, Seth. It was kind of easy to splash into red. Because it starts giving you more energy counters for your Aether Hubs, too. So it makes it really easy to cast your stuff.
That's a good point. Well, maybe we'll see it happen.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, yeah, Thrumming Bird, I guess it did see Fringe play. You're right.
All right, next question from Meister Laka. Any tips on preparing for Nationals? Pretty excited / nervous?
I guess just test as much as you can. And then the kind of the life stuff is make sure you get sleep and that you're hydrated. I know it's easy to get nervous, but if you rest up and you are hydrated, it really does make a difference. I've definitely done tournaments where, and this was a long time ago. I mean, I can't even remember the last time I was at a GP. I think it was like 16 or something. And I just I didn't sleep. Like, we were up because we were kids in high school. And it definitely affected how I played.
Yeah, we've never been to Nationals, so no solid advice.
Yeah.
Just show up at the venue early.
Right.
I guess my guess. You don't want to be
too.
panicking at the last minute trying to find parking and find where you're supposed to be. So show up early, get a coffee, relax, and play some Magic. Next question, Rigu1U5. Do you think WotC will try to recreate the secondhand market? They could have boosters and singles more expensive. Is this in reference to Arena?
I would think so.
Yeah.
I don't think they are going, even though we got a lot of comments last week about this, actually. I don't know if they're like I could see it working, but I don't think they're going the method of Pokemon TCG, like with the codes and stuff. I think they'd rather just have it kind of be like Hearthstone, where people are buying packs, but you're pretty much buying packs from them, and you're buying like drafts and all that stuff. But I could see them bridging the gap like that. I don't know. Maybe it could happen. I think it could work.
I mean, I would prefer that to the Hearthstone model. I think that would make it easier to acquire cards. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think based on everything we've heard, it sounds like Hearthstone is the direction they're pushing. They haven't said that specifically, but if you just pick up on like all the little hints and the things they say in interviews, it sounds like Hearthstone has definitely had a major influence on what they're thinking right now about it.
I think the reason why you see things the way they are today at Moto is Wizards was very afraid of getting labeled as some kind of gambling device. So now that Hearthstone has been out with their model for a while and they're not being sued left and right, for gambling, I think Wizards will just copy it, right? Because there is some trick to paying out prizes, but it's not gambling, and converting cards to money and stuff like that. And Hearthstone has dodged all of this, so I think Wizards will just follow.
Well, Pokemon pretty much did, right? I haven't heard anything crazy come out of there.
Yeah, but Hearthstone is much bigger than Pokemon, I think.
No, I get that, but I think because they have the paper aspect, like obviously I'm just taking what Seth said, and I lean towards that too. I think that's a better way to bridge the two mediums. But I think they're going the route of Hearthstone because people just know that. They're already acquainted with that. So as much as I do think one way would be more successful, I'm not, adverse to them going this way because I'm someone that has been pushing them to try and go this route too because they need any kind of digital platform. So whatever they're doing, I think it'll be fine. All right,
here's the question. Let's say there is no Pokemon model, right? You just buy straight up like Hearthstone packs at $1 a pack. Or you can get codes in your paper boosters and trade them in, but if you want to buy the packs normally, they're $2. Does that even make any sense? I don't know. but like
no,
if
so
they give
saying...
like say the pricing is different depending on whether or not they give you the codes, right? Because if they just give you the codes, they're losing money, right?
Yeah. I get what you're saying. So keep the current pricing of the pack, but put the code in it, or lower the price of the current pack too. Wait, the paper pack.
Well, I'm assuming the paper price doesn't change.
No, because what I'm saying is if for that to work, the only other way to get cards in MTG Arena is you're essentially paying more, right, to go this route. But you either play paper, but you also want to play Arena. So you're basically buying the pack anyway, or you just go full Arena and you're getting a discount to essentially get into the game. But
it's got to be the other way then, right? It's got to be the Arena pack is more expensive, but you have the option of buying a paper booster and getting a code in it.
I think they'll do codes, but I think it's more likely that they're codes for a certain promo or something. I mean, I guess we'll see, but that would be my guess. They kind of tried that a little bit on Magic Online and then went away from it. But I think that there will be codes. But I don't know if it'll just be like, oh, you get a free pack every time you buy a pack in paper. I think it'll be more toned down than that.
Here's a skin, or here's a new playing field.
Yeah, they used to actually do that for you're right. Like you would win the cards and they're like, here's an avatar for whatever, and you like enter the code and like, all right, whatever. I never played it, so I was like, whatever.
All right, next question. KNext12 was looking at Mythics. It feels like Iconic Masters is a master level core set, and what you guys are hoping for will be in Masters 25. So
that's fine. I mean, listen, we got a lot of comments about this too. I think overall we all said it was fine. No one's really complaining about what was in it. It was from the start that we were expecting not this to be like Iconic Masters and put Shivan Dragons and Sengir Vampires in there. But if you're gonna push it and promote it and market it that way, then it wasn't successful because you didn't have any of those cards at any rarity. I mean, we talked about this yesterday with me and you, Richard. Like, you didn't put Sengir Vampire, you couldn't put that in as a common. I mean, that card's pretty much a common at this point, like Sarah Angel. And I think over a couple of the other cards that they included, it wouldn't have made a huge difference. So they didn't really throw enough in there to say, oh, look, this is iconic Masters. Look at all these iconic cards. But who knows? Other people brought up that it's iconic to different generations of players. I could buy that maybe. Like, there's Thragtusk, there's Restoration Angel. Those two were a huge combo for a large part of the game, a few years ago. So, okay, I get that. Maybe it was iconic Masters for, up to like 5 or 10 years ago, or 8 years ago, and not like all the way back to, the Dark and stuff like that. All those older cards.
Well, to jump on the second part of the question, I will be super disappointed if 25th Anniversary Masters isn't like when they did the From the Vault 20, where you had stuff from each age. Like, I want to see old school stuff. You can have the new stuff too, but I feel like it needs to, the archetypes and the decks and the cards have to really span all of Magic's history and not be another Modern Masters with a couple of old mythics thrown in for to sell packs or whatever. So I think they really need to make it feel like it encompasses the whole game for 25th Anniversary Masters to be a success from a flavor standpoint. Like, it'll be a success because it'll have good reprints, but I think it needs to do more as far as the flavor by hitting everything.
I mean, I think Iconic Masters showed us the death of Singer Vampire. Like, basically, you're not going to see these cards in bulk in any set anymore. You'll see, once in a while, it'll be in Welcome Deck 2018 or something. But I think when WotC revisits old stuff, they just want kind of like the feel of it, but not the actual literal cards. So I don't think we're going to get like a literal Juggernaut or a literal Sarah Angel or anything like that. But you might get Archangel Avacyn or something just named differently, right? That feels like Sarah Angel, but fits within today's design parameters.
Yeah, because it seems like they are going that way, because you can't tell me like certain like Wing Shards, like how is that iconic? I don't even remember. Yeah, it was like a decent card in Standard, but I wouldn't call that iconic. So I get it. It's fine. Me personally, I don't really care. It was an overall successful set. And I think an overwhelming majority of players don't really care anyway, as long as they're getting good reprints. So the point is really moot.
All right, next question. True semicolon. How does anyone beat Hazoret in the Standard?
Exile it. You got cast outs. We have Vraska's Contempt now. So I think that those type of removal spells will be at a premium. Although it's a little concerning that we lost Grasp of Darkness was the most efficient way to do it, and didn't really get a cheap exiling replacement. So it'll be interesting to see if Hazoret is even better, because the best answers are 4 mana now.
Yeah, it was pretty tough to deal with that. Pretty much it's cast out and not much else.
All right, Jesse, Pippin, has there been a budget Magic deck that you enjoyed so much that you came back to play? Which one and why?
So I actually read this question earlier and was thinking about it, and for me it's more certain cards, I guess, that I keep coming back to. Panharmonicon is one of them in all formats. Sphinx's Tutelage was that for a while. We haven't played that in a while, though. So it's not very often that I go back to the exact same deck, but I come across these cards that I like, and I stick with those cards and keep playing them in slightly different tweaked builds over and over again.
I play 8-Whack once in a while. I just love me some 8-Whack goblins. Sometimes I try to spice it up by splashing a different color and like increasing its budget by like $500 and making it worse. But
I got these Tarmogoyfs. I might as well.
I mean, you need double red so badly in the deck, but you can just splash all these colors because it's modern and you do whatever you want. Next question. Sinfantismal. Seth, love your content, especially against the odds. Have you ever heard that you sound like Gene from Bob's Burger?
People tell me sometimes that I sound like a cartoon character, but I don't think I've specifically heard Gene from Bob's Burgers, so that's a new one.
You do kind of sound like Gene.
I've never watched Bob's Burgers, and now I gotta go watch.
It's a great show.
It is a good show.
Next question. D Jazzy, I agree IMA wasn't all iconic, but maybe Masters sets should be draft a cube / reprints minus Eternal minus Modern.
I mean, that's kind of what they are now. They just name them poorly.
I mean, after Modern Masters, like, what do we call this? I don't know. Just slap a random adjective on it. But it really is just cube cards and reprints and stuff they needed to fit somewhere.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I haven't really cared. I don't think most people do.
Just call it like Masters and put the year in. Masters 2017, Masters 2018.
Maybe you're right, Richard. I wasn't super into that idea, but now I'm definitely moving to at least lukewarm. That would probably just be better.
Baldwin Man 3, have any standard cards surprised you by seeing play in modern or older formats?
I think the biggest recent one for me is Walking Ballista. Not so much that it sees a little play, but when that first came out, there's no way I thought it would be like a top 10 creature in modern. I would have never guessed that.
Yeah, Walking Ballista is pretty good. Yeah, I would say that's probably a good reason.
Yeah, modern is just so open. You see random standard cards all the time. But my favorite has been seeing... what was it? What was that Teamer standard deck with Sarkin in it? Was it Sarkin? Who was the Planeswalker?
What?
One day at F&M at our store, you have standard followed by modern. So someone showed up late to standard. So they registered their standard deck in modern. And they almost won in 3 games against my friend's Jeskai control deck. And I forgot, it was like some kind of teamer deck with like planeswalkers, and you're holding like a lightning bolt, and you can't kill anything because all the standard creatures are 5/5s, right? And
what?
Oh, which standard? This was like a couple months ago, but it's hilarious.
With Sarkhan. That can't have been couple months ago.
What's like a gold planeswalker?
Yeah, it was probably there was a Teamer Sarkit.
Oh, Copycat.
No, Copycat's like, you probably think that's a modern deck too.
I mean, Teamer Sarkin was a while ago, but there was a Teamer Sarkin.
I think it was that deck, and I remember looking at hands, and it's like, okay, you got a Lightning Helix, a Lightning Bolt. He's got 6/6s on the other side, and it's just looking very bad. You're like cryptic, bounce, and then they play it again, and you're like,
It's the Nick Fit technique.
Oh, and they played like Savage Knuckleblade and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that would be awful to bounce, because it only gets better. Because then they could dump all their mana into it.
I guess Seth's right,
like
Nick Fit.
8/8 with
the
haste.
whole Nick Fit deck fits here. Every time they play something in Nick Fit, you're like, I'm going to lose to this standard card. I can't believe it. Standard cards are really good if you get them out like 2 or 3 turns earlier than normal. Desi Nohe, what card do you guys want to see unbanned in Modern? Stoneforge Mystic, Twin, are they safe to unban?
I don't know at this point. I don't really have a preference. If they decide to unban something, great. I think the list can just stand as it is. A lot of that is too good to unban.
I would be pretty fine with seeing... I think at the top of my list is Twin, Stoneforge Mystic. I'm growing towards that being okay. For a long time, I was like, no, unless Batterskull was banned. But the more I see Death Shadows and stuff, I'm like, is turn 3 Batterskull off of Stoneforge really something I'm scared of at this point? And I don't know if it is. Also, I think that Bloodbraid Elf is one of the most unfairly banned cards. Like, it's really good, but it's Deathrite that was the problem, and Bloodbraid paid the penalty for Deathrite's sins.
You can't go Bloodbraid into, like, Liliana the Veil. Like, that can't happen. That is too good.
But then you're already dead to Death Shadow or
so
Storm.
Good. You're getting 7 mana worth of cards and one card.
Actually, since we're on modern bannings, what are the odds that they ban Storm again? I've been noticing Storm is like top 1 or top 2 deck in modern lately. Like they gotta just randomly ban a Storm card, right?
It'll be like Goblin Electromancer or something like that. Something weird.
I'm surprised none of you has cost said reduction. I thought you guys were on the unbanned Jace train.
No, what? No, definitely not.
I'm still on the unbanned Jace train.
Well, Seth is. See.
I
would take any of these cards before we get to Jace.
Yeah,
but I think Twin is
like
safe.
even give me even like Green Sun Zenith before Jace.
Geez. As if Coco decks aren't terrible enough to play against
give
today.
me my turn. Give me my turn 1 rampant growth. I want my turn 1 rampant growth back. What? It's good. It's fine. Over Jace, I think it's fine.
Actually, I don't know about that. Jace can only go in a certain deck, whereas Green Sun Zenith goes in a lot of decks.
Yeah, that is true. And the Dryad Arbor stuff
it's like after the Green Sun Zenith for Night of the Reliquary, and you lose that match. For the next match, a Primeval Titan kills you. And the next match, a Dryad Arbor kills you or whatever. All right.
No, yeah, it's definitely not Jace.
Josh Jar Manning, if you could pick one card from the history of Magic to reprint in 25th Anniversary Masters, what is it and why?
Any card? Well,
I got mine. I'm going with Port. Gotta reprint Rishiden Port.
Yeah, you have to reprint that
The
card.
main reason I think is if that gets reprinted, Death and Taxes becomes not just a really strong legacy deck, but it's pretty close to being like budget, or at least budget friendly enough that that's the deck you're like, oh, you want to get into legacy, build Death and Taxes. It's pretty much a tier deck, and it's like modern prices instead of being, I don't know, car prices.
All right, you guys gave like a real answer. I'm going to go with the fun answer. I want to see Baron Singer come back, and I want to see him updated. I want to see Baron Singer with today's mechanics. So like a Bloodline Keeper type card where, you know, you got to do Baron Singer right. It's like such an iconic, like crazy dude, and it kind of sucks. So give him a good card. I don't know if he's alive. Is he dead? I have no idea what happened. What's going on with the story?
I have no idea.
Bringing back some of the old people, but with, you know, updated 2017 rules and playability.
Give us a Mishra Planeswalker. Or, what was the other one? No, give us, who's the one that, like, Urza. Give us Urza. Yeah, that not Mishra.
Urza plus 1
I
win
want
the
an
game.
Urza Planeswalker. Yeah,
Zero
I want an
win the
Urza
next game as well.
Planeswalker. Give me an Urza Planeswalker. That's what I want.
Oh, how crazy would it be is like +1, like, undo the result of the last game of this match. Replay. It's like Karn, but you just replay the match instead of the game.
Hey, come back here. Come back. I know you signed the slip, but we have to play a new game. That's not what's going on.
Red and Dark Rider. Thoughts on Rampaging Ferocidon being main deckable?
What is this card?
That's the red hate dinosaur, the 3/3 menace.
The 3/3, yeah, can't gain life whenever another creature enters.
I think it's good enough. I like that card.
I'm going to say yes, but only in specific decks or in specific metas. I don't think you can just run it all the time. It's not like Ripjaw Raptor is a card that it's just so good no matter what that you'll run it all the time. This is a card that in certain decks that are super aggressive or in certain metas where life gain is really relevant, then I think you can main deck it.
Hey, is it just me, or does the unstable land, or do the unstable lands look a lot like the Samsung S8? Still prefer the unhinged ones. So the way the border looks, the top frame and the bottom frame they look like the bevel on your phone.
Yeah.
And now that I've seen it, I can't unsee. And then the foil is like the
right.
whole
I can't unsee it now. Oh my god. Yeah. Now I can't unsee that.
Wait, speaking of which, do you guys like or dislike the new art and the new frame?
I'm fine with it, but I've really grown accustomed to the unhinged and unglued lands, so I don't know. But they look really nice. Maybe it'll take a little time to grow on me.
I really like them, but I was hoping they'd be a little goofier. They look almost too clean and, like, I don't know, too nice for an unset. I was hoping they'd be a little more wacky.
Yeah,
but I think they look amazing.
I like the art. The art is amazing, but I don't like the frames. They look like postcards now. They look like actual photos or something instead of Magic cards. So it's a little weird.
Richard, this was your idea. They only just did this for you.
I don't always have good ideas.
Your idea,
okay?
like,
maybe they should have listened to me because 25
episodes ago or something like that, you're like, what about borderless lands? And they're like,
This reminds me of the Simpson episode where Homer designs the car. It's like, maybe you shouldn't have listened to me. Maybe we need a card frame because it looks a little too weird now. We talked about this from Go Game Show, but I'll shout them out. How do you think Opt from Ixalan will impact Modern, and what decks will benefit the most? And we said Storm.
Yeah,
Storm would like it.
Yeah.
Already on the fringe of getting banned and getting another piece to play with.
Yeah.
Taskmaster 1995, moving into Standard. What do you feel will be the best piece of removal? Or pieces of removal?
Yeah, this was a tough one. I see folks using the 4-mana Vraska's something. I can't remember now.
Contempt.
Yeah. Only because like a lot of the damage stuff is great, but once they drop Ripjaw Raptor, you literally just want to cry because it's like, I have to drop all of my energy on this card, and they're still gonna draw a card, and I lose a card. Like, this really sucks. But mostly it'll probably just be Lightning Strike, Magma Spray will still be pretty good, Harness Lightning will be good, and I think that just straight up kill spell will be like the Vraska's Contempt type thing, unless there's one that I'm missing, like Doomfall or something like that.
I think Fatal Push is still very much near the top.
And very
Cast Out is kind of the white Vraska's Contempt, sort of.
Yeah, Fatal Push. What was the other one? Abrade is still really good.
Walk the Plank, not good.
I don't. That's definitely a sideboard card, but it's not. I don't know if it's good enough to play it main deck.
Next question. RN Tazzy, looking to try Standard again. Is there a cool combo deck for the format? Also, what is the best non-MTG dinosaur?
Well, if you want a combo in Standard, I would look for some sort of Paradox Engine deck or Aetherflux Reservoir deck. Those are the most combo-y decks. There's a couple that we've played for different series, so you can probably look those up, but those are the most common combo decks. They're definitely fringe, but you can definitely kind of go infinite with them. Dinosaur-wise, I'm going to go Littlefoot, I think, from Land Before Time. I remember that one from when I was a kid, at least.
Oh, I forgot all about that. I was like, the only dinosaur I could think of is Barney.
I think Littlefoot beats Barney.
What about the T-Rex from the newest Jurassic Park?
You're going like, that's like, what is it even that called? It was like the
one that came back and saved everyone. Spoilers.
Oh.
Wait, so...
Yeah, but it doesn't have like it's like just generic Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Do either of you guys remember... Man, I have just like kind of fleeting memories of this from when I was younger, but some sort of like dinosaur sitcom where
with the suits. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Old. Yes. Oh,
I actually watched that a lot. Well,
yeah. Oh man, man, we had some weird stuff back then. Yeah.
Oh, now I need to Google this. I remember
was it
this.
Just dinosaurs?
This.
It might have just been called dinosaurs.
I think it was just like dinosaurs. Yeah, I think it was just dinosaurs. I'm also gonna go Land Before Time. I'm gonna say Petrie.
Ooh, Spike too. Shout out to Spike.
How do you guys remember all the characters from Land Before Time?
It was a great movie.
But I don't remember all of this. Oh yeah, people check out Dinosaurs. I'm sure you can find clips of it on YouTube. You missed.
Yes, Dinosaurs is a pretty weird show, but yeah, Barney represent. Yeah. Shout out to Barney actually too. Shout out to Barney. Why not?
Are there no more famous dinosaurs? There's got to be another famous dinosaur.
Oh, wasn't there also... There was like We're Back or something like that. There was also like an animated movie with dinosaurs, and it was like in New York City. I think the main character was like Rex or something like that. That was a good movie too.
You lost me. I don't get it. I don't remember this.
Oh, no, you don't remember that movie? We're Back.
A live action or a cartoon?
Shout out to We're Back. If anyone, it was a like a live action / cartoon movie. If anyone actually remembers that movie, kudos to them. And if you comment and you know about We're Back, then you definitely are. You definitely grew up in the right era.
I'm looking at the poster. It is a real thing, but I don't remember this at all. 1993. All right.
Yep.
Next question. Bruno Alzuguire, what is the worst mirror match? Gideon Tribal or Soul Sisters?
Soul Sisters.
How do you even win in a Soul Sisters mirror?
Yeah, that is crazy. I don't know. Norin.
Yeah, I don't know either. So, be on the draw, right? No, play. Be on the play, right?
Orlov 31 is Watley to dinosaurs what Arlencord should have been to werewolves.
Sore subject.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, Arlencord is still 100 times better than werewolf guy whose name I forgot because he's so irrelevant.
Yeah,
Ulrich.
Yeah, I liked Arlencord. It was a real shame that card never went anywhere.
All right, since they won't reprint dual lands and they're getting more expensive, could you create a new fair dual land good for Legacy?
Legendary or snow covered. Those are the easy ones.
No, apparently you could just do flip cards that turn into dual lands because that's functional
but
reprints,
you can't
right?
fetch them. Even if even if they literally just flipped, you couldn't fetch them, making them totally useless.
Yes.
I think Shocklands are pretty good. I think Shocklands are a very good fair version. I don't know what else you could do aside from making just straight up better ones.
Literally the same one but one damage.
That's just like a
literally
better
the
version.
same card but one damage.
I think 2 life is pretty fair.
I think that and I think that's the close you could possibly get. They ping you.
I mean, you could make like tribal. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a merfolk or something.
Ooh. Yeah, that could work.
And you can fetch it.
Yeah, wait, Wanderwine Hub?
And you can fetch it.
Like, okay.
Or make, like, commander-specific ones. Like, if you don't control a commander whose color identity is red or something, bury this when it comes into play. And by bury, I mean destroy.
Wait, that wouldn't even work in Legacy, would it?
No, it wouldn't. But it would work for commander, right?
Legacy, but it would work in commander. Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of options for commander, I think.
All right. Those are all of our questions. So thank you, everyone, for sending them in. If you have any future questions, send them to @MTGGoldfish with the hashtag MTGFishmail.
Sounds great. Gentlemen, we are overtime, so that is going to wrap it up for this week. Enjoy the pre-release this weekend. It is this weekend, right? Yeah. And tell us about the pre-release. Tell us your stories. Tweet us pictures. Tweet us sweet polls. We love to hear it. But that is going to do it for this week. This is the MTG Goldfish crew signing out. We will see you all next time.